Good morning everyone. My name is Songfo V, metric number BB192111 and 46. I'm from International Business HG09 and my topic for this individual assignment for IBR is trade war. More specifically, trade war between China and also US. So I've picked 3 articles that was related to the trade war between China and United States of America. So the first article was, what is the US-China trade war? From South China Morning Post. And the second article is, as the US-China trade war drags on, what does it mean for everyone? Which is from the Washington Post. And the third article is, what has the US-China trade war achieved? And this article was retrieved from the Hindu Business Line. So the first article, what is the US-China trade war? This trade war was started by President Donald Trump when he decided to impose a tariff into the goods of China. The reason why he decided to do this is because he wanted to decrease the trade deficit between US and also China. Because US had been suffering from trade deficit between the trade ongoing between China and US since 2002. Hence, when he took over, he decided to impose the tariff and decrease the trade deficit between both countries, which also one of his America propaganda, which he want American first or America first, and this lead to protectionism between the US towards the China, and this had led to a phase 1 trade deal. This phase 1 trade deal was a negotiation between US and also China in order to ease the trade war between two countries, where China decided to buy agricultural goods from the US, while the US will decided to not impose tariff on certain items of the China's goods. And since President Joe Biden took over the office in 2020, he decided that instead of trying to ongoing with the trade war with China, he decided to renegotiate with China in order to make a better deal for the United States. So there are 2 keywords in these articles that I can find. First is diplomacy. Diplomacy can be referred as something the conduct of international relation by negotiation and dialogue by other means to promote peaceful relation among states. In this case, the diplomacy between China and also the US. So in order to promote peace, and also instead of trying to make the trade war deepen into a worse scenario, they decided to go on a phase 1 trade deal. Second, bipolarity. Bipolarity meaning to say that 2 power in the global economic and also the global scene, where both only have 2 country or 2 nation or 2 states are in power. In this case, US and China are one of the states have the global economy in terms of political or economic. Hence, it will force some country will have to pick side, whether they are on the China side and also or even the US side. Let's, for example, Taiwan are partner with the US. Hence, he will move towards the US sides. Meanwhile, North Korea are partner with China. Hence, he will move towards the China side. And this will create a bipolarity skin in the global scene. The second article is, the US-China trade war drags on. What is meant for everyone? There are 4 key points that I would like to raise. Number 1, a potentially higher price in goods. China is one of the biggest exporter, and also US is one of the biggest importer of China goods into their place. So with this trade war ongoing, where both countries impose tariff and taxes to each other goods, it will essentially drive the price of the goods up, and the household will eventually be the one who suffer at the end. Second, more uncertainty of stock market. Ever since the trade war started, Nasdaq and also S&P 500 was off by and plunged by 2.9% and also 3.5% each. And this is bad for everyone, especially the one who trades stocks in both of these platforms. And everyone who decided to sell their stock while this trade war are ongoing is eventually locked in losses. So it is advised for them to hold their stocks while this trade war had reached to a negotiation or probably eased down a little bit. Number 3 is that lower interest rate. Even though lower interest rate means that the mortgage or loan will be much lower interest rate, however, some of the retired or people who pension or people who doesn't have a job who rely on interest rate will eventually suffer in the end, because most of the money are in the bank are just waiting for the interest rate to generate more money. And last but not least, more economic angst. Since the trade war had been ongoing between both countries, and both of these countries have a lot of investor and also foreign direct investment towards the country, and because of this trade war, some of the investor or FDI had decided to pull off or maybe halt off a little bit of their investment until the trade war had been cooled down a little bit. So that's the 4 key points I would like to make. And the keyword that I can identify in this article is globalization. Globalization can be defined as describe the growing interdependence of the world's economic, culture, population brought by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, and all of the stuff. So by having trade war, it defeats the purposes of globalization, where both countries wanted to being interdependence between each other. So the third article and also the last article, what had the US-China trade war had achieved? If you're looking at the data and also the number, we're able to conclude that China might be the one who's winning the trade war. This is because the trade surplus for China are increasing. Meanwhile, the trade deficit for US are increasing as well, which is bad. So the keyword that I am able to identify in the article are technology war. China had been imported 300 billion worth of chip from US into the country. However, despite this huge amount of number, China are going to re-export these chips, which is the SMIC chips, and around the world. And what China did in this technology war is that he's denying the input and also the knowledge for China to develop the 5G and also the artificial intelligence, which we call the AI. So this technology war is bad for everyone. It has a worldwide effect for every single person in the world. If you own a smartphone or any digital component, handphone, smartphone, laptop, iPad, or even a TV, we can able to make an example from the Huawei, where Huawei no longer have the Google software in their phone, which causes a lot of users around the world. We have upset because they are being a fan of Huawei and like the phone. However, because there are no Google services and also software in the phone, they're no longer interested in the phone anymore. And that is a perfect example that I'm going to use. I would like to talk about my personal thoughts on the articles that I've been chose. I feel like the articles made some very great points and also insight as well as information to me that I didn't understand before reading the articles. With the ongoing war between Ukraine and also Russia, and also the trade war between US and also China, the world is divided as ever. You can see that China and India are sided with Russia, meanwhile the US and also the European Union are sided with Ukraine. And this had global effect and also affect everybody in this world. Also, I would like to add on that I often see that the government official from the US or even the president like President Trump or President Joe Biden have been talking about they are the one who's been winning the trade war. However, after reading thoroughly in the articles, I found out that China might be the one who's been winning this trade war this whole time instead of the US. So I would like to say that the article did give me a lot of information that I didn't understand before. That's all for me. Thank you.